G'day everyone, how's it going? It's Jackson. Welcome back to Endeavours for the 23rd of January. As always, if you're just looking to check one Endeavour here, and you want to know how that works, you can check the timestamps below, or if you want to skip the intros and all that, you can just check the description or the timecodes below. There'll be timestamps everywhere. So I just wanted to add in a little bit of extra stuff on this video, because ZeniMax has just released a deep dive on challenge difficulty, which is TLDR, it's the Overland difficulty settings that they're going to enable with the seasons update. So here it is here. If you want to check this out yourself, a link to this article will be in the description. So here it is here. These are the 4 difficulties that they're adding to Overland. Now there is a little bit of context I think people need to understand. The intent behind this design was that they want players to be able to still group together and all have these different difficulty settings that they can choose from, and it not force them into like specific instances where you say you can't play with someone on adventure if you're playing Vestige. So if you've got a good friend who isn't as experienced with the game as you, they want to play on a lower difficulty, you can still play the game with them and it doesn't really impact anything significant. I just personally I don't see this doing anything for me. Obviously I'm biased, but I've been playing this game a long time, and if all that's going to happen is you take more damage and you deal less damage, it's basically just like playing Skyrim on Novice versus Legendary. Like it doesn't add anything. It just makes everything damage sponges and just makes you really, really flimsy. The flimsy part is exciting, but yeah, just making bosses last ages is fucking, it's not, it doesn't add anything. It just increases what you've already dealt with more so. Though that being so, the 600% thing, I just want to put this in perspective, right? So I just went and fought Limsgather. This is probably one of the most like well-known world bosses, right? You start the game, as soon as you log in, you're basically 2 minutes away from walking over to this guy. He's right next to the way shrine that you start with in Glenumbra. You just travel over there, you jump down a wall, and you're basically up to him. So this was on a champion point 300 character. She's got that champion point that increases reduces your damage taken by 10% against monsters. So she's about as tanky as a light armored damage dealer is going to be. So this attack here, I blocked it from Limsgather. It did 4,400 damage to me through block. Okay, you times this by 6, so 600% extra damage. This dude will comfortably one-shot me on this character through block if I try to fight him on Vestige difficulty. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. Like, if people want to do that, you just get more health, and it'll be very exciting. But the damage, reducing your damage done is the real problem for me, right? Because one of the best ways, I think, to use characters in this game is to have abilities that deal damage and heal you at the same time. And some of these deal damage... Oh, sorry. The healing is based on the damage done. So I use a lot of Merciless Assault, like Grim Focus and Strife. Both of these have a healing based on damage done coefficient. These are going to be severely impacted by this, because your damage is going to be 80% lower. So this healing section is going to be 80% lower. So what I would have rathered, at least, is that this part here isn't like, I wish that the lower difficulties you actually got more damage done. I feel like that would have had less of an impact than this, because that just kind of, this is just destroying certain builds. Kind of, that's how I feel anyway. I just feel like this is going to force you to basically have to have healing that isn't based on the damage done, and in that case, it's just going to make it slower and less comfortable for you. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the intention, right? Like ZeniMax probably looked at that and went, "Oh, looks like you're going to have to spend less time dealing damage and more time healing. It's going to make fights last longer. It's going to make you play the game longer. Oh, look at that! The stats are bloated when we show it to shareholders, so surely that's a good thing for them." So I don't know. Maybe that's exactly what they wanted. But that's definitely the worst thing for me. Not being able to get as much healing is like the fucking worst. Worth noting is that as far as it stands, it'll be delves, public dungeons, and story instances. So dungeons, trials, arenas, infinite archive, that is not any it's not currently designed to affect any of these things. Whether they'll change that in the future, who knows? I suspect they will, because people will probably ask for that enough. But yeah, we'll see. I can't imagine they'll want to do extra difficulty settings for things like Dreadsail Reef. I feel like that's just hard enough as it is. Like on veteran hard mode and shit. But we'll see, I guess. Wasted enough time, I think, trying to get into Endeavors. This set here, this one here, right now on EU, oh god, nah, probably not. Probably not worth bothering with. This one here, it's actually to players. You can't just deal damage to anything, unfortunately. I wouldn't do this. Unless it's absolutely busy in some of the campaigns, like literally pop-locked. You've got some siege weapons, you shoot them out. That's the only way I would do it. If you're a PvPer, you're not really watching this video, I think. So in that case, nah. I feel like PvEers are probably interested in this. And in that case, no. Don't do it. Because if you just like go up and try and AoE people down, if you're in range of them, they're in range of you, so they're probably just going to kill you very quickly. The PvPers in this game do a lot of damage. And on a PvE build, you die in like 2 seconds. So yeah, honestly, just don't look at this one. Only do this one here if you have a lot of crafting materials available. You must be level 50 and have all the passives unlocked on the first skill line of each of the crafts to do the durables master writs. So yeah, and again, I feel like if you are in the stage where you can do these, you're not really going to be watching this video. But I don't know, maybe. So Humanoid Daedra, laundering, and casting skills. These are the 3 you want to do. These are all really easy, all base game. Doesn't take much work getting to the ability to do them all. So I'll start with laundering items at fences. There is a couple of places you can do this, but the base game option is the one I always use, so I'm just going to show you that. So this is Belkarth. This is found in Craglorn. Whoops, went too far. So this is the regular town that you... as soon as you enter this zone, the Belkarth Way Shine's unlocked, but if you've never been here before, you won't have anything here. So to get here for the first time, check the description for one of the Endeavor prep videos I've made. It's for home tours. You want to use this to get here for the first time. Illinois Private Arena is what you want to have a look at through that system. You find it in the group tab here. And if you just go into someone's Illinois Private Arena and then just leave, go west, you'll get over here, and then you'll have access to Belkarth from that point. And yeah, this place is really helpful. Same with Spellscar up north. Yeah, all you need to do is come to Gem and Flask here. So it's right next to the Wayshrine as well, so it's easy to get to from any time after that as well. So all you need to do is head upstairs here. This is what you're looking for, all this stuff here. But take all these provisioning materials. If that's not enough for 8 items to launder, you've got greens baskets, you've got millet sacks. All these items here, you can launder them for a single gold. So that's all you're going to need. Remember, stuff that you launder, the more expensive it is to sell, the more you're going to have to launder it for anyway, so it's not going to be worth it. You just want stuff that's really cheap. So here it is. The Outlaw's Refuge is right here. So once you take the laundered items from that top floor, you can come in here, and the fence is just down here through this gap in the fence here. That other fence, I should say. So Rashinia here is who you're looking for. So just make sure you go to Launder here, this tab, and then do it. So 8 there, and that's it. And then obviously, if you want, you can just sell the rest. So just sell that one, and then if you want to make the gold back that you spent, it's not much, but you know, it might not be stuff you want to keep if you're having issues with inventory. So just go to this vendor here over the other side, and you can just sell everything here, and that's it. Alright, time to discuss Humanoid Daedra. So Dremora, Zivkin, which you find in Imperial City a lot, Zivali, those sorts of things work. You'll find Dremora in a lot of places, so I'm just going to try and cover the only real places that I ever check. So this is Library of Dusk, just outside Hollow City. It's very easy reach in this location, even if you've never been to Cold Harbor before. Naturally, you have to get here through questing, like through the main quest line. But if you don't want to deal with that shit, if you haven't done any of that yet, just, again, use home tours to get here. The Cold Harbor Cyrodiil Estate, just use that to travel out of Hollow City, just travel west, and then you'll see lots of Daedra here. The Flame Atronachs here, the Coldfire ones, don't actually count, because they're Flame Atronachs, not Humanoid Daedra. But everything else should work, and there will be a lot of Daedra around here that you can kill. You can also just come up here again, and usually you can find some stuff here too. So these Dark Seducers here, these also count as Humanoid Daedra. Same with the Golden Saints if you can find them anywhere. You'll find a lot of that stuff at Dolmens in any of the random zones, but it's a chance thing. Sometimes you get undead enemies, sometimes you get like Atronachs and shit. It's not a guarantee, so I wouldn't really rely on that as your method for Humanoid Daedra. I'd either go here, or another great option is going to Imperial City, especially if you want to still do the option for defeating foes in Imperial City. This one. Anything works with this, but there'll be a lot of Humanoid Daedra there that you can kill. Just remember that place is basically a PvP Wild West zone. Where there's no rules. Fucking crazy motherfuckers kill you in 2 seconds over there. If you're able to handle yourself quite well, my personal favorite option is Imperial City Prison. On normal, probably don't do that. This option here, as soon as you enter the Imperial City Prison, there is like 8 or 9 Humanoid Daedra, or more than 10 I think actually, that you can kill to complete this endeavor. So as soon as you get in here, you'll see these ones here. So you've got the Zivkin, you've got the 3 Dremora over here and there. And so you can fight this group here. Focus on the Zivkin, because they're without a doubt the toughest one. This one here. And that'll be 4. All you have to do now is just either go left or right. Over here, there'll be a group of Dremora and Daedra over there. And then same thing if you go over this side. There's a Dremora Caitiff there, as well as this one's got a Zivkin Necromancer there too. But they're smaller groups, they're even easier to deal with. It's not that difficult to deal with these guys, but they're definitely tougher than Overland stuff. I mean, Overland is now, not when fucking Vestige difficulty comes out. That'll be ridiculous. But yeah, this is all you need. And this is very easy to get to. You unlock this as soon as you start the game. Like, you can access this at any time. All you have to do is go to any wayshrine in the game. Just go to Cyrodiil here. Don't go into Imperial City as a zone. Oh, actually, maybe you can travel from there. But yeah, from the Cyrodiil zone itself, you just find it here. You can kind of do the same thing with White Gold Tower, but there's only really Zivkin there. There's not many Dremora in that one. And you only can get a few from the first area before you fight the first main boss, which is rough on your own. So yeah, I'd only really go Imperial City Prison. There's a couple of others, you know, Crypt of Hearts 2 is pretty good. City of Ash 2 probably be really good. Maybe City of Ash 1. But like, this is the most simple one. It's got all you need in the first room. And doing anything more than that, I think, is just making things too complicated. Also, the exit is right here. So you leave and it takes you to whatever wayshrine that you came in from. So it's just really, just naturally convenient for you. That's why I like it so much. Alright, third option is casting with active skill styles. This is basically just reskin skills. So when you check skills in this game, if you see this icon, this represents a skill that can receive a skill style. Most of these will be locked, and a lot of these will be pay gated, so just be aware of that. There are a few that are not, and I'm going to suggest that you get these ones at least, because they tend to also be some of the easiest to receive first. I'll also go through one later that is also really helpful for the long term, because this will come up in weeklies, and this skill is just like, there's nothing else that competes with it as far as like casting this shit really quick. But the only two you really want to look at that you need really is going to be Soul Trap, Orchid Purple, and under Alliance War, Vigor, Soothing, is it Soothing Blue? Yeah. So when you click on these, it'll start like this with the paintbrush down here. To make sure that the skill is active, you just have to click on it and the paintbrush will go here. So now when I cast a skill, it'll start working. So yeah, it's very easy once you set it up, but it's just a little bit of initial prep for it. So Orchid Purple, this is the easy one to get. The only issue with this compared to Vigor is it requires a target, but that's not a big deal once I show you a way to get some target dummies. You can get them from guild halls, obviously. If you've got a crafting hall that you go to naturally, they'll normally have target dummies. But there's also, if you don't know any like houses to go to, there is also a dedicated training room in the Scholarium, which you do to unlock scribing, which in turn also unlocks the Awkward Purple Morph here. So what you need to do is find... There's this quest here that you can see, the icon. There's no one here, but that's because I've already done this part. But there's two locations I suggest. Firstly, if you've got Gold Road, you can get here, like you can start off the scrubbing quest line by starting with this way shrine, going up here, down south into this city. Obviously, if you've got this way shrine already, use that instead. But naturally, you don't start with it, so you have to start there. You just come down here to the Mage's Guild here. The guy will be over here. If you are playing this on base game, though, if you don't have Gold Road, just go here instead to Deshaan. There are other places, but this is the one I find to be most convenient because you've got a house with home tours right here. Whereas the other ones, you know, you do have houses as well. Stormhaven one is fine because you've got the house here and you can just travel over here. But the Grantwood one sucks because you have to go into the tree and that means you can't use your mount, so it's just lower. But yeah, I naturally just use Deshaan because I'm more familiar with it. So yeah, just use home tours, Flaming Nyx Deluxe Garret, just leave this place and just hop on your mount and come over here. Over here, you'll find the same guy over here. He'll have a quest over his head after you just wait for him to talk for a second. And that is how you begin the quest line for scribing. And as soon as you complete that first quest, which literally takes 5 minutes, it's one of the easiest fucking quests, normal quests in the game. Like, you might have to fight a few Achinarchs, but you don't even have to fight the main boss sort of thing. It's like a tier 1 Achinarch thing. You can literally just run past him. So complete that quest, you'll unlock Soul Trap Awkward Purple, and you'll be good to go. With this option here, you'll have to go a bit further. You have to complete Wing of the Netch. So it goes second area of scribing, Wing of the Indrik, Wing of the Netch. Wing of the Netch is the point in which you unlock Soothing Blue Vigor. And again, this one you can use anywhere, you don't need a target, so it's a bit more convenient. But if you have a character who hasn't got a lot of stamina, like this one for example, it can slow it down a little bit. But it's not a big deal most of the time, because you can just do the other stuff while you do this option here. Like while you're fighting Daedra and running for this area here, you can just cast it a bunch of times and then wait for it to refill your stamina. And once you complete the first quest, you'll basically rock up here. And all you have to do to find the training room for Soul Trap Awkward Purple is just come over here. It goes into this room here. Now, if that door is grayed out, if you can't actually access it yet, just leave the Scholarium and come back, and the room should be unlocked. If it's not, just let me know, and maybe I can think of something else. But yeah, you just come in here. There'll be 3 target dummies here that you can use. All you got to do here is just firstly go World, Soul Magic, Soul Trap. Just click on this little icon here, make sure this one's selected, and then just chuck it on your bar and just cast it a bunch of times. And that's it. You're all done. Now, the last one I wanted to talk about, the extra one, is weakness to elements. The reason I suggest you get this if you can is this ability doesn't have a cost, so you can cast it as many times as you want. This is really helpful for the weekly because the weekly will likely be 50 casts, maybe even 100 casts. So that's a lot of work. But you can make it as quick as possible, not having to worry about sustain, like waiting for your resources to come back, if you get one of these. So there's 2. You've got the purple version, which requires you to complete Fate of the Forgotten Prince, which is the Gold Road final main quest. Gold Road's questline is pretty straightforward, so don't really need to worry too much about that. Just make sure if you're going to do that, just go to group here and go Zone Guide and just follow, like use that to check where all the quests are. It's pretty straightforward to follow. The other one is the orange version, which comes from Najkaldish Vanquisher. So if you have the 2 new dungeons from the Worm Cult Season Pass, whatever it is, you'll have access to this. Najkaldish Vanquisher is normal, so you don't need to do vet, just normal. And normal, it's a little challenging, but nothing crazy, so you should be able to handle this. Again, it's probably not going to be as bad as fucking Vestige difficulty. So yeah, just do either of these. Just remember they are both pay-gated of some kind, so that is kind of annoying, but it's basically this game these days. So yeah, just one of those. That'll be all you need for like weeklies in the future. But for now, you only really need these 2. Like honestly, you only really need these anyway. And you can create a character and just give them shit tons of magicka or stamina recovery. So you can dedicate that sort of thing with these skills. But yeah, that's just another one that you can use if you don't want to worry about that. Just a quick run through of the Master Writ. So durables, this is anything related to clothing writs, blacksmithing Master Writs, woodworking Master Writs, or jewelry crafting Master Writ. The first thing you need to make sure you understand is that your blacksmithing must, like as an example here, if you want to do the blacksmithing Master Writ, your blacksmithing must be level 50 and you need 10 out of 10 in the metalworking passive. This stuff here doesn't matter, though preferably have temper expertise maxed out, because that will get you, that will allow you to use less resources to upgrade your items for the sake of the Master Writs. In my opinion, the best options, if you can do them, if you have the Somerset DLC, are Jewelry Crafter Writs, because they miss two things that the other ones have to deal with. Styles and style materials. This one here, the only things you really need is the trait material and the trait learnt. As long as you've got those, that's it. And there's 9 traits, but there's like fucking 100... there's 9 traits, 9 trait materials. There's like fucking 2,000 styles and style materials in this game. So that's the traits are the easy bit. So yeah, I always do Jewelry Crafter. Even though the Zircon platings, Orbit Amber is quite expensive too. But some of the Jewelry Crafter Writs, the trait materials are quite cheap. And some of the styles are fucking expensive, so I guess that evens out. Naturally, you'll be able to do a lot more of these than you will the other ones, I think. The other 3 options, clothing writs. Gold quality woodworking writs, if you can do them, are also really good, because rosin is hella cheap. Blacksmithing ones aren't too bad either these days. But yeah, I'd probably only do master woodworking writs or the purple quality Jewelry Crafter ones. So you'll initially get the new writs through, like these come from crafting writs. They have a small chance to drop from these based on a bunch of things, but they'll show up like these at first. So you left click on them and then go to Master Writs here, they'll show up here. What I would advise you do for completing these Master Writs, to make things a lot easier for yourself, is get access to a crafting hall like this, which has all the master crafting stations here. So instead of having to go out to different locations to find the crafting stations, some of them can be really painful, like the ones in Imperial City. Instead, you can just come here to one location. Just takes away so much of the work, because you can just find everything here. Especially good if you want to do multiple Master Writs and just craft them all in the same place. So what I'll do is, for PC, NA and EU, I'll have 2 crafting stations in the description that you can check to find them. Whatever the user ID is, you just go browse homes and you just chuck the username in here. God, I've already forgotten what this one is. Varlad. So yeah, you've got Royal Guild Hall. This is the one I'm currently in. But yeah, there'll be some in the description which have all the crafted sets sorted for you. So yeah, just check that if you want. I don't have any, unfortunately, for console. If anyone knows some good ones there, just let me know. But if you don't know of any, just go to recommended here and just look for anything that says like crafting hall or guild house or something like that, or anything that says crafting. Sibling crafting might be something like that. The last thing is, whenever you're done and you need to hand the quest in, you'll need to go to this guy here, Rollis Halalu. Now, in my opinion, the best way to do this is to buy this house here, Flaming Nyx Deluxe Garret, because it's very cheap and it gets you very close to Rollis Halalu over here. You've also got the options in Snugpod in Gratwood, though this is a lot more expensive than Flaming Nyx. It's close to Rollis Halalu still, but yeah, much more expensive. And then you've also got Garden House, which is closer than even to Rollis Halalu, but this is hundreds of thousands of gold. So if you don't want to spend that kind of shit, fair enough. I wouldn't want to. I personally don't think it's worth it. So yeah, usually I just buy Flaming Nyx, and when I'm done, I just travel here to the outside, and that takes us out of this this house and takes us straight there. So Or, if you know you don't own a DLC and you know a house is located in a DLC zone that you don't own, if you leave that house, it will take you straight to the waypoint you came in from, which would have been the one in Deshaan here, so that would have worked too. So, because yeah, that was this house here, Princely Dawnlight. But like, if it's one in a base game zone, then it'll take you out to where the house is located, which is probably not going to be helpful. Obviously, if you don't have any of these houses and you can't afford them, you can just use home tours for the same thing. Just look up Flaming next to Luxray and do that. It's just a little slower, that's all. So it's coming out here. You find Rollis over here, and that's it. You just hand that in, and you're done. So, what do you use the Writ vouchers that you get for handing these things in for? Mostly just the storage chests here. These storage chests, they're basically like having an extra bank in your house, where you can just store a bunch of stuff. It is absurdly good for like long-term playing. Like, say you're doing Dreadsail Reef, just a specific example. You want to get World of Depth. You want to collect the set, but if you get any divines items or like some weapons with good traits, you can just chuck them in one of these coffers while you're collecting the set. And if you just by chance get everything you need through divines and stuff, you can just pick them all out of that storage chest instead of having to worry about your inventory management there. So yeah, these are some of the best investments in this game, and the sole reason I would even consider any Master Writ stuff myself. Otherwise, you could just buy stuff with gold anyway. Transfer Station's quite interesting too. This allows you to get transmuting without having to go to Clockwork City, but most crafting halls have this thing anyway, so you can just use that. But there's a lot of other stuff here. You've got things for getting target dummies, which I think I also like the idea of, because there's some quests that will... not some quests, sorry, some endeavors, poison application endeavors, for example, where having a bunch of target dummies might be helpful, because you can just AoE the target skeletons that don't fight back, and then just makes quick work of applying poisons. Alright, the last one, I would only do this if you can see Grey Host here, and it's like full pop-locked everywhere. If it's only a few players, the odds of you actually getting anywhere significant quick enough for the other options to be not as good is like so infinitely small. And even when it's fully pop-locked, you're probably better off just doing the other options anyway, in my opinion. But if you want to do PvP at the same time today, it's fair. But do remember that it's only damage to players. Attacking like NPCs, guards on keeps and stuff, that doesn't count. So the only way I would do this is, if you're a PvEer, just go miscellaneous and just check if you got any firebolt blisters, or cold fire blisters are even better. These are quite expensive to get and maintain. But yeah, that's all you honestly really need. Maybe also the fire pot trebuchets too, because they can fire in place, like hit enemies in places that other ones might not be able to. For example, if you're fighting on like a keep that's got a lot of players on it and they're all using blisters on the wall, you can put a trebuchet on the courtyard ground and shoot it over the wall as well. Yeah, that's the only real way I'll do it. You can get firebolt blisters and cold fire blisters on guild stores pretty frequently. If not, you can just go to siege vendors here and just buy firebolt blisters here. Every keep on the map has a siege vendor that you can buy these firebolt blisters from. So what I would do is just either, if you find like Ebonheart Pact, for example, had like a bunch of these keeps, I just go to one of the front ones, and just one way is to like just wait at the walls and see if the enemy comes to you. Just set your ballista up and just shoot it out. So the way this works is you use it as a quick slot item. Just go inventory, go down to firebolt ballista. Let's chuck it on there. Find a flat spot. Oh, hello. Okay. So you just chuck this on the floor, and then you aim where you're looking, and you just fire it like that. And it's literally just it's just a missile that blows up and deals a bunch of flame damage to everything. It's really good because it deals flame damage over time. So as long as the enemies are in the AoE when it explodes, it will deal a shit ton of damage to them after a certain time. Even that, you'll probably need to shoot, I'd say, 4 or 5 shots on a group of players for this to be like anywhere near like convenient. Otherwise, like I said, this option will be better. And the amount of time you probably spent looking for players before you get killed at some point because, you know, PvE is probably not too familiar with PvP, is probably the time you could do this entire set here. So, yeah, again, would not really recommend this as an option. Like, appeared out of nowhere, what the fuck? Okay, yeah, I think that's enough info. So if you guys have got any questions about anything I talk about here, you know the drill, just chuck a comment in and I'll give you a hand with anything you need. But yeah, I'll leave it there. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. Wish you all a happy Friday and take care for now.